Hello Internet! You join me here in my backyard on a sunny Sunday afternoon at the end of March. 2 months ago I had the harebrained idea to start learning about viticulture the only way one should, by planting my own vines and growing my own grapes and making wine from them from scratch. Cool idea. Problem is I got insanely busy. I had bought 6 cute little vines in their own little pots, and by the end of February I hadn't gotten around to planting them yet. There were these sad little sticks in the pots. They looked pretty damn dead, but I said, okay, fine, just hopeful, pray something will work out. I dug a 3-foot deep trench, infilled it with sand and gravel to increase drainage, because here in Tualatin it is very wet, very muddy, and the soil is extremely heavy in clay, and it doesn't drain well. And the thing is, what grapes like, they like to have vines that and roots that can go down and chase after water instead of just getting root rot because the water's sitting still. So dug the trench, made a total mess of the backyard, popped in the vines, and after a week or so nothing had happened. Then we got some rain, we got some sun, and lo and behold, come with me, we started to get budding. So here you can see, this was actually one of the last to bud. This was one of my Riesling vines, which makes sense because Riesling is from northern Germany. It's super cold up there and nasty, and the vines don't want to expose their soft little leaves and tendrils until that frost has gone away. And so they wait as long as they possibly can before they start releasing anything that will be damaged. And so one of the last to bud was this Riesling vine, and you can see just really, really pretty little kind of greenish, pinkish tint going to that. I had one Riesling vine, I had another one over here. Another Riesling vine, because I wanted to make just enough for a small batch to figure that out. One of the earliest to bud was actually the Chardonnay vine. You can see here the leaves are already coming along quite nicely. I'm going to start getting tendrils probably soon as well. But very, very pretty, bright green leafage. This is going to be probably a fairly vigorous grape. One of the later budding ones as well was this, the Pinot Meunier. And if you know Champagne at all, Pinot Meunier is one of the major 3 grapes used in Champagne, including Chardonnay. You might notice a trend here. And here we have Pinot Noir. This is specifically the Pommard clone of Pinot Noir. I was just curious to see how it would grow here, but it's doing quite well, leafed fairly early as well. And we also have clone number 115 of Pinot Noir. So hopefully I can experiment with some small batch bubbly made with Pinot Noir, Pinot Meunier, and Chardonnay, but we'll see how these go. The next challenge is, though, is that one of my friendly accounts that I sell wine to is also growing grapes, and he had his own root-stocked Pinot Blanc that he gave me just because he's a nice guy. And so now I've got these, and as lovely as they are, I don't want to eat up my whole backyard with just grapevines and nothing to eat. But I have to plant them somewhere because they're already starting to go, and this pot is not going to be big enough for them to actually take off and root properly and everything else. So I'm going to have to continue the line once I put in stakes and wires out this way, where we have a bunch of just cute flowery things and stuff like that with the Pinot Blanc. What that's going to mean, though, again, is digging another 3-foot deep trench, remediating the soil, and putting them in with some degree of measure. I'm trying to be smart here as well. I'm trying to follow Champagne method by giving them only 3 feet of distance apart. In Burgundy and in Champagne, the thinking is basically make the vines fight for nutrients, make those roots go as deep as possible, and so put them very close together so that they'll struggle and fight and produce only their best fruit. And so that's what I've done here, as opposed to what they do in California or other places where they usually typically give upwards of 6 to 8 feet of separation for the vine so that they can get as many grapes as possible, as opposed to just a nice concentrated few. So hopefully they'll struggle to fight and they'll turn out some pretty damn good fruit in a year or so, once I get all the wiring and everything else set up. But that's the plan for now. We'll see what happens.